That's what I get for wanting to clean my glasses, huh? I'm a smidgy Widgerson late. So no worries, right? No worries, you guys? Right? There I am. Okay, yeah, because these glasses... oh, things will look so much better once I clean them off. Hello, hello. As promised, here I am. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane? Is that what I'm thinking? Good morning. Oh, good morning, Christina. Nice to see you. Or kind of see you. My glasses are off, so I know you're there. Notice how I had to look really closely. Oh, goodness. So oh, you know what? I should probably clean these too. Heather, nice to see you. Yeah, I'm so glad to see you live too. I am doing a bunch of lives before I go take some traveling. And yeah, hopefully, how about this? Doing a little declutter action while I'm just chatting in the background. Good morning, Jen. This is what I like to call the romper room portion of the evening, or the show. If you are of a generation, a Gen X generation like I am, you may know the pop culture reference to which I refer. We got Heather, we got Teresa, we got all sorts of people tuning in. Nice to see folks. Cheryl, good morning. Jen and Kay Roth and, Eric B. and Rakim. Anywho, so here's me. I am Beth. But just, hear this. You don't even need to remember my name. Good morning to Lisa. Nice to see you. Gigi Gina. Okay, a lot of friendly folk. Little Tara Nails and Katie and Jen. So cool to see everybody. Always a good community of people immediately, kind of organically happens when we do these, which I freaking love. And if we haven't met before, if you're just new, if this is the first time you've seen me, my name is Beth. Hey, Beth, but just remember Destination Decluttered. Now, if you have tuned in before, Maca Girl Forever, ooh, if that's in reference to Paul McCartney, I'm a wicked McCartney fan myself. So I will say this, I just got literally just got my hair cut. I just came back and had some grape nuts, had some tea. So I'm kind of checking it out. I think he did a good job. My guy Phil is awesome. If you usually tune into these, you may notice something different. Awesome, Sir Paul, rock on. Here's a random pop culture note. My dad's name is John Lennon, if you're a Beatles fan, just as a little note of interest since we're talking about Sir Paul. Anywho, few breaths. Let's get ourselves, including myself, focused. Destination Decluttered. What I was going to say is that often I do my TikTok lives from my room, my office. I don't like to use the word office. Studio feels weird. I just call it my room, in the other room, where I spend a lot of my time happily, but I forget that I can do them in different places. And since it's such a nice day out and we've got some sunshine here in the Hacienda living room, I thought I would show up and just do one from here. So again, if you have tuned in before to one of my TikTok lives, you know the deal. I am here for you. Ask questions. Notice where you're stuck. What is not working for you? Let's hit the brain where it lives, which is, let me tell you what's gone wrong. Let's go there to light up that part of your brain so that we can bring out our trusty old detour sign and say, okay, let's stop going down that road. Let's go down another road. Okay. And if you haven't met me, hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. So if you struggle with clutter, if your home does not look the way you want it to look, if it does not feel the way you want it to feel, and if it doesn't function the way you want it to function, I can probably help you. Okay, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Motivation overwhelming. Okay, how to start a room, says Twintastic, but how to start overwhelming motivation. Boy, can I help you with this, because this is the thing that most people struggle with. And so I am used to talking about these things and happily and excitedly want to give you some tips and strategies, not just like tips and tricks. It's a strategy and a repeatable process that takes the drama out of this. Okay. So let's start with motivation. So one of the reasons why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered is to have you get clear on, not even get clear on, imagine, what do you want? What are you heading towards? Now, the silly thing is is if I was in my room, then I always do this, I would be pointing. You guys know, the people who've shown up before, know that I'm often pointing to an imaginary road trip. Okay, now we all have to use our imaginations. Imagine yourself in a car on a map, right? And you're on a road trip. You're the one behind the wheel, and there's a map ahead of you. There's a map behind you of all the places you've been and how you got to this point. But ahead of you are all sorts of roads going to all different places. Which one do you want to drive? What destination do you want to drive down? And this is what I mean. And I tend to flip back and forth kind of organically between what do you want your home to look like, but also what do you want your life to look like, because they're intertwined so much. So before you even start to declutter, ask yourself why you're doing it. Why you're doing it is because I want my home to look like this. I want it to feel like this, and I want it to function like this. Write down your destination and do it so you get excited about it. Okay? If you're not excited about where you're going, you're going to drag your feet getting there. On the flip side, notice when you're excited to get someplace, when you're energized to get someplace, you cannot wait to get going. When can we hop on the road? I want to go to the beach. I want to get on that road trip to California. I want to get on that plane to fly somewhere. I love to travel, so a lot of my references are travel. But notice that before you even start, one of the things that will really help you is to know where you're going. What do you want your home to look like? I bet it's even better than it is now. What is in the way of that? So getting that to motivate yourself. And then it was overwhelm. Overwhelm is going to be, oh my gosh, but that's going to take so long. I'm never going to get there. There's a bunch of stuff in between here and there. Notice the overwhelm. Again, it's a feeling of over. Think of the word over. It's over your head is overwhelm, but you can control that. You can take control over the overwhelm, even though you tend to be like, oh, I can't control it. You got hands. Take that overwhelm from above your head. Take some deep breaths and get your body involved. Why not? Take some deep breaths and move that overwhelm down where you can see it, down where you can write it down. Write down, I want my home to look like this. I want it to feel like this. What are some things I can do to get there? All those things. Get your thoughts. You guys, get your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. It is such a simple yet powerful tool. It is like the screwdriver in the toolkit of your life. It works all the time. It's so freaking handy. Okay? Write it down, chunk it down. The smaller you make the steps, the easier it is to get you started. And notice Twintastic, I pivoted nicely, dovetailed right there into starting. Because every day, all of us will need to, if we want to get somewhere, we need to motivate ourselves and then get started in doing something. Every day you turn on your car, you turn on the ignition. If you don't, your battery goes dead. Am I right, Gina? So notice that is a repeatable thing to do, to say, all right, this didn't go right, but what can I do about it? What can I do differently to get myself going in the direction that I want to do? Notice I have such a habit going on that I am, oh, thank you, Christina. You're so sweet. Okay, now get off your phone and do some coaching, okay? Mwah. You got this. I do some decluttering, okay? I can't wait to hear all the good stuff you did. But notice I have a habit. Notice a lot of your clutter stuff is habits. This is the other thing I want to reveal. Sure, there's thoughts and feelings and actions that get you stuck. But then once you get stuck and get started, you will notice that you got cluttered because you have certain habits. I love to just take the drama out of things whenever I can. I like to desaturate it, like turn down the saturation to black and white, to be like, oh, that's the only reason I'm cluttered? It's because I got in the habit of cluttering? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it could be a decades-long habit, but it's a habit nevertheless. Okay, so just notice these things. Getting overwhelmed, taking control of your overwhelm. You have control over that. You can chunk it down. You can get excited about your destination and be empowered to say, what little thing can I do today to get there? That will get you motivated. And how to start is to say, again, what's a simple little thing I can do today to get started? So I am further away, even a step or two from where I started, and I'm closer to my destination. Okay? Good. I love it. This is unlike, so when I have a Destination Decluttered email mailing list. If you want to get on that, destinationdecluttered.com/join. And once a month we have a a group Zoom call just for the people on the mailing list. So if you want to get on a free Zoom call with me and a bunch of other people talking about clutter and, you know, helping each other out, fine. The only reason I think of that right now is I'm like, right? And this is less of a two-way street, but you get where I'm going, right? Michelle is asking tips on getting rid of loved ones' things that have passed. Another heavy hitter, another one, Michelle, that you are not alone on. And here's where I will say a bit of the life coachy stuff happens. So I'm a certified life coach, but I love working in the clutter world, because when you learn how to deal with the thoughts and feelings of your clutter and take action on it, you can also copy and paste that same process into other areas of your life. But here are some things that I know will help you. Think about how that person's things make you feel. Are they making you feel good? Are you excited to have them in your home? Do you love them? Do they add to how your home wants to look and feel and function? If they do, that's wonderful. You don't want to necessarily get rid of the things you love, either that they were owned by somebody else or that you have of your own. However, pause, dramatic pause for effect. However, if your stuff makes you feel ugh, or meh, ugh, notice that and pay attention to that. Pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel in your body. Does it make you go lean in and go, ooh, that's cool? Or does it make you go, well, I guess, or, oh, I don't even like that. Notice my body is moving and those feelings are somewhere in my body. It is okay if the stuff that was once owned by somebody you love does not make you feel good and you don't want it in your home. If you don't want it in your home, that is okay. You have 100% permission to remove those items from your home in the easiest way for you to feel good about it. So that will depend on what you want. Maybe you want to, maybe some other people in the family want some stuff. Maybe it's a donation thing. Maybe it's a sell thing. Maybe it's an auction thing. Maybe it's a trash thing. You know your situation better than I do, because we're not doing one-on-one. You're not my one-on-one client. I do one-on-one coaching with people, but just saying that you have permission to create your home. See, this is the funny thing. Recently, when I was on a coaching call with a client, and I work with clients one-on-one on Zoom, she was telling me something, and I said, you know what? I am 100%. I am only here in your life to champion you, to be here for what you want. And I really love my clients, and so I defend them even when they are thinking it would be an okay thing to do something some other way. I'm like, remember where we're going? I say this because of love, right? And I want you to love yourself, to say, I deserve, before I die, I want my home to look and feel and function exactly like I want it to. And if that means not having a lot of stuff that somebody else liked in their house, then so be it. That's how I coach. Also know that just because you remove the items from somebody you love from your home doesn't mean you didn't love them. Doesn't mean you still don't love that. You ceased to love them just because you don't have their stuff. My dad passed away 13 years ago. 13 years ago. And he lives on in my memories and in my thoughts. And sure, I have a few things in my home that are sentimental. I'm a sentimental person, but I don't have everything. I have a few select items that remind me of my dad and stories I want to remember. He had fun collecting a F-ton of stuff that I had no interest in it, but boy, did he have fun doing it. So I love the fact that he had fun while he was here collecting this stuff. But just because he did does not mean I need to keep it. Same thing with my mother. She's alive right now. She has a bunch of stuff in her house. I've already walked through and kind of cased the joint and been like, do I want any of this in my house? Not really. Maybe a thing or two. But that's good. Have a plan for you. And know that it is totally cool and important for you to live a life that you want to live. That's how I coach. All right, here we go. Gaga's World. When I try to cull clothes, I have a hard time donating them because they still have use. Okay, well, here's a silly thing. I just want to mention, and I'm not saying you're silly, is that's cool that they have good use. You wouldn't want to donate clothes to somebody that they couldn't wear, right? You just happen to be not wearing them or using them. So if you're not using them and wearing them, and this doesn't go to just your clothes, this goes to anything in your home that you're not currently using that still has good value in it. Donate it. Donate it to somebody in a place where somebody else can benefit from the fact that this thing still has life in it. If it didn't, you'd put it in the trash. If it didn't work and you couldn't fix it, it would go in the trash or the recycles. So just notice that there's a little bit of just, like a miscommunication, like crossed wires in your brain about that. Like saying, oh yeah, why would I donate something that somebody couldn't wear? And think of how good it's going to feel. Think of how good it's going to feel when you say something that wasn't working for me can work for somebody else. Not only am I freeing up, I'm creating space in my home for me because I'm removing something that isn't working, but there's an opportunity. That thing is going off there, and I'm going to believe, I choose to believe, this is one of my phrases, I choose to believe that is going to connect up with somebody who can really use it. And how cool is it that I get to help somebody I don't even know? I love that. I love that. So Gaga and your clothes and anything else, anybody else, just notice that, okay? Start on paper. Yep, Christina. Yeah, there you go, Christina. Yep, hit that starter button. You got this. I know it. I can't wait to see your things. Elizabeth Max, 17, is asking, is this taped so I can listen again later? Hell yeah, it is. And here's a neat thing. This is a wonderful kind of relationship we all have. I show up to help you because I have gotten help myself, and I have gotten my life to where I love how my home looks and feels and functions. And it's so freaking good. And I know how to get there. It's like I created a path to get to this destination of decluttered. And I'm so excited. I want everybody to go on that trip if it's a destination they want to get to. I can show you how to get there, where the pitfalls are, where the dips are, where the leaps, the excitement, the boringness, all of that. I help you through it. I'm kind of like your travel guide. And so I'm here to help you. But this is really cool, is you all, anybody who shows up on these TikTok lives helps me. How do you help me? One way you help me is when you like my TikTok page, because that shows me a number changes when people like what I do. And while I don't buy my worth, I don't see my worth in the numbers, what I see is that there are people out there who are struggling with something that I am good at helping with. So that encourages me to show up more. It makes me do more TikTok lives. It makes me put more consultations on my calendar. It makes me look at my calendar and say, where can I fit in more clients to help people? So thank you for even just showing up and liking my TikTok page. The other thing too, and I know this is long-winded, but I want to tell you, I want to say thank you, because somebody early on when I was doing a TikTok live said, hey, do you record these and download these? And I was like, I don't even know how to record it. I don't even know. Like she said, I thought it would be helpful for me to listen to it later. That never occurred to this brain because it's not, but it occurred to somebody else and they said, hey, this is a suggestion. So the cool thing is really long story. Yes, I do. All the TikTok lives that I do are downloaded from TikTok and uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. There's a special playlist. Actually, most of the stuff on my YouTube channel now is just the TikTok lives. I'm not being consistent with uploading the recorded videos here on TikTok. Those go from here to Instagram to Facebook. But yes, it is recorded. You can listen back later. And here's the wonderful thing is that I have heard, now that I've been doing that and telling people about it, I've heard back from other people who said, what a great idea. You know what I find really helpful is I listen to those TikTok lives when I am decluttering. I listen to them in my car and I get inspired. So when I get home, I want to hit the ground running. It makes me feel not so alone if I'm at home alone working, saying, why am I doing this? I've got somebody there who's on my team who's championing me, saying, you deserve to live in a house that looks and feels better than it does. You know, however you want it to is how you can make it. Okay, so thank you, Elizabeth Max 17, for asking. Christina, thank you for all those things. Okay, here we go. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, here's an interesting thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. Sharon Rankins. This may sound strange, but I don't think I know how to like a page. You know what? Maybe my words are not clear. I'm just getting to learn TikTok too. I believe you follow my page. You drop me a follow. This Irish guy says a follow my page. So there's a follow button. Same thing. I think from your perspective right now, when you're looking at what I see, what you may see is on the the right-hand section of your page, there might be a circle with like my logo on it. I see it up here because I have a different view because I see all your stuff. But you can tap on that, and if you haven't followed me, hit the follow button. Okay? The other type thing is when you do that, feel free to please hang around with this, but also notice when you go back to my TikTok page, I do videos all the time to not only give you practical, easy, fun advice on how to declutter, but also motivation and inspiration as to why you want to, or if you stopped, how you can get moving again. You go. Here's the thing. I appreciate that Emily Grace has given me an idea. When you upload them, can you please add a topic to the name? Here's a funny thing. I might do some topical ones. I will do that. I wrote that down before. Maybe it was you, Emily. I'm not sure. For October, I may have like a theme week. How's that? I'm writing this down. Theme week, where one day I do one thing and the other. The other thing too is, okay, K Roth. There. I know there's an equivalent. Yes, you are able to do it on the. I think it's just a follow button. The thing I will answer to you, Emily, is the topic is always decluttering. The topic is rarely something like a specific home, but yes, you're right. That would be kind of fun to focus on one room. Yeah, one room. See, notice how you gave my brain an idea and now it's creating stuff. One room each day. How's that? Does that sound like fun to you guys? Would you tune into that? Like one day we do kitchen, the other one is like laundry. Like what else would you like? A topic that, that would help you with some specifics. All right. Claudia Lober is saying, you are a blessing to our world. Thank you for helping us live in a more organized and peaceful environment. Oh, you're welcome. That's why I like to do this. Okay. Okay. Something just happened there on my thing. Yep. One room a day. Okay. That sounds good. Junk drawer organization. Okay. Junk drawer. I'm writing these things down. Paper. Kids' toys, clothing, digital memorabilia, pictures. Oh, you guys are good stuff. I'm writing these all down. Craft room or office. Yep, sounds good. Bathroom. Oh, good one. Junk room. Yeah. Every room's a junk room. Bathroom, junk room. Okay. Emotional everything. Okay, sentimental. Yeah. Garage. Yeah. All right, I'm running out of space. That's good. And I can't write for shit, but closet organization. Okay. Closet. Basement. Okay. It's good stuff. Okay, so I think we almost pretty much did the whole house. Here's a few things I want to share with you right now. This is so cool, and this is how I coach. The way you do one room is the way you do every room. I teach a repeatable process, a cut and pastable process to be like, oh, this is what I did in the kitchen. I can do the same thing. I can follow the same process in another room, and another room, and another room. So that'll be fun. Linen closet, drop zone. Okay. Sue, you're welcome. Stored crystal and china. Things to help us declutter. Things to use to help us declutter. Here's a wonderful thing. We all have it. It's right here between your eyes, maybe behind your glasses. It's your brain. Your brain is your best thing to help you declutter. It is. I don't want you actually buying anything. That's why I don't have a link in bio, buy the stuff and I get a spiff. If anything, see, here's the funny thing. How would I be a good decluttering coach if I said get more stuff? Because your answer to decluttering is not getting more stuff, it's reducing the number of things in your home. And this is what you want to use. You want to get better at using your brain. It's funny, I'm seeing like my new haircut's kind of sprouting out around. You want to, okay, hidden declutters. Okay, I'm just writing a few more of these down. Shoes, china. Hidden clutter. Storage. Okay, so I am just dumping. This is like, notice how all of us, I am doing that thing. I can't remember all this stuff. My brain is not good for remembering things, and that's okay. I have other ways to remember things. Writing things down, getting it out of my head, getting it out of your head, and saying it so that I can write it down is saying, this is what I'm struggling with. When you say, what am I struggling with? Then you can get help with it. And here's one thing that is going to help all of you right now. Notice that you have thoughts in your head. Notice that the thoughts in your head make you feel a certain way. Hey, this day is growing great. Yay. Oh my God, this day sucks. Right? Notice, thought in your head is a sentence in your head. It is a line of code. It is a line of words in your head that you interpret up here, and it makes you feel a certain way. When you feel a certain way, you do a certain thing. If you're like, hooray, this day is great, I'm going to do some cool stuff. Yay. Usually I do it from this side, kind of funny. So I'll do that. Or, yeah, you know what? Oh, this day sucks. It's not even worth it. I'm giving up. Then you don't do anything. The best thing that you have, and all of us have this, and you can get better at it even if you're not used to it, is using your head, using your brain. This is where you envision what you want it to look like. This is where you notice those unhelpful thoughts. Those unhelpful thoughts that make you feel like crap, because when you feel like crap, you don't want to do anything. You can change that. You can invent new thoughts in your head that make you feel better and do better. Also, in your brain is where you do the decision making to say, as the Clash would say, should I stay or should I go now? Do I want this? And what is this thing? How does it make me feel? Do I want it in my home or not? If I want it, then I decide I want to keep it. If I decide where I keep it, then I decide where it goes, what home it has. If I decide I don't want it, then I decide where's an easy way to put it. Now, this is a way of thinking that's just going to serve so many areas of your life. Notice that. Okay, there we go. Sue Selwell just said, I get so overwhelmed with everything that needs to be done that I shut down and do nothing. Okay, notice overwhelm is all, nothing is nothing. All or nothing thinking gets you nothing. So let's stop doing that. Let's put up our little traffic cop hand and saying that way of thinking isn't getting me to do anything. How you do that is you say, when I feel overwhelmed, I will chunk it down. Instead of the word over, I think down. It's not over me. I have control over it, and I can write it down. How about this? Sue, I'm going to guarantee that if you even just wrote down 3 or 4 things you knew you could do today, instead of with everything is, don't look at everything. What is something? Chunking down everything to something. What is something? Some things, a few things you could do today to get yourself feeling better about how your home looks and feels and functions. Write it down, because that'll get it out of your head. Say, I'm going to do this today. When you do it, cross it off. Little dopamine rush action for any of my HGTV, ADHD people. Little Liz Lemon, self high five. You did it. 4 things you do today are 4 steps closer away from being cluttered and closer to where you are cluttered. But check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? Check your thoughts. If your thoughts are unhelpful, overwhelm being one of them, practice interrupting that pattern in your brain. A pattern disrupt, a pattern interrupt. Stop, get your hand involved. Stop, like a little traffic cop, and redirect the traffic onto a new road you're paving that says, I'm going to do something, and I know that road is going to get me to where I want to go. There we go. Jessica Riley, notice you are struggling with something that, and I'm really bad with names, I have to admit, but somebody up the thread. How to let go of dead relatives' things. Sentimental and recent, but there's too much of it. Okay, notice a couple of things. Notice sentimental. So when I coach, think about this. All of the stuff in your home falls into one of 3 categories. Surface, stored, or sentimental. Notice the sentimental is the stuff that involves your heart and, makes you feel feelings. So if it's recent and you're still feeling feelings about stuff and the feelings are getting in the way of you making a decision that feels right to you because the pain of this loss is there, honor that and say, I'm going to come back to this later when I'm not so raw. But also notice, Jessica Riley 8942, is when you also say, because there is such power in your words. Notice this, your thoughts are words in your head. The words in your head are now typed out in front of me. Use these words to your advantage to get insight. Insight. Look in to your brain and be like, oh, that's what's making me do the stuff I'm doing. And notice that you said, but there's too much of it. Now that is an interesting thought because that is a quantity of items. Notice that There's too much. There's also just right, and there's lack. There's lack, just right, and too much. Too much is also too much, is overwhelmed. There's too much, too much, too much. There's just right that feels good, that right amount of stuff. Only you can decide what is the right amount, but you know right now that some of this stuff is in the too much category, that I have too much. So what can you whittle it down, and when are you going to get to, so you can get to a situation that feels right? So just notice that. Oh, yes, Elizabeth Mack 17, thank you. Just notice that, okay? Everybody, you are human. You're not a robot. You're not a machine. Allow yourself to be human through this entire process. It's going to be a lot more fun that way. It's going to be a lot kinder that way. And you're still going to get results. Do not buy into the fact that it's got to be knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. And it's got to be unpleasant to get results. It can be fun. It can be a treasure hunt. It can be laughing and sharing or crying or feeling, or all the feels of doing stuff can be making it exciting to see your before and after photos. So do not become a machine about this. Honor your humanity. Honor the way that it's going to feel so good some days, and some days you can't even deal, but it will come back. All right? Please do that. Okay. What else do we have here? What about too much? I have too many coffee cups, too many cookbooks. Okay, Rose, here, I'll offer this. I just did this myself. Check it out. Everybody, check it out. With all of the things that you have multiple copies of, multiples of, you have your favorites, don't you? I know I do. Do you have a coffee cup that you are always the one that's your favorite? If they're all there and they're all clean, if you're only picking one, you're picking your favorite. There are other ones that are okay to use in a pinch, but you've got your favorites. Do you guys see how often I show up with one or two of these mugs that I made for myself? This is from my old kind of coaching. I still drive your life. You're the driver in your life. Just drive your life in the direction of your dreams. I truly, sincerely believe that. And I made this mug for myself to remind myself of that every morning. I also have another one, but it's the same. It's a similar kind of inspiring quote that I made up for me. But I also love the size of this mug. I love there's so much about this that I love that I will wash these over and over again as opposed to using the ones in my cabinet. So notice the things you use that are in circulation. Coffee cups, clothing you're wearing, makeup you wear, cookbooks you use. You have things you use often. They are in circulation. They are in a cycle. Those are the things you don't have to worry about, but just get curious about them. Spices. I was on a coaching call this morning. Spices. What spices do you use all the time, and what are the ones you use occasionally? What are the ones you don't use at all? Save your favorites. They even kind of rhyme. Notice the ones that don't do it for you. It's chipped. It's faded. You deserve good stuff. Say to yourself, and this is a good way to think about this. A couple of things of way to think about, maybe some tools to help you get rid of things. Or I don't like to use get rid of. I'm always, to pass them along to somebody else. I think that was my husband. Notice how the thing makes you feel. And I haven't thought about this in a while, but I'm going back to school for my coaching. I'm reviewing a lot of my coaching stuff, which is great because I always want to become a better coach. And one of the things I used to talk about a lot, and I'll bring back again, is this notion of your internal traffic signals. So notice where something hits you in your body. I like to think of it as the traffic signal, like the green, yellow, red that we see all the time, but except I flip it upside down. So to me, green is your heart. Yellow is kind of in the middle, and then red, stop, is near your butt. This is how I coach. I say that because there are some certain things in your home when you're like, ooh, I like that one. No, that's my favorite. You lean in. It's your heart. That's the green stuff. That's this mug to me. There are other mugs where you're like, yeah, that one's okay. It's fine, whatever. Usually the stuff in the middle, the meh, the okay, those are the things that there's nothing truly wrong with them. There's just too many of them for the space you have. But then you also have stuff that makes you go, ugh, meh, no, like, ugh, no, I don't even want that one anymore. Like it always gets too hot in the microwave. It's got a chip. The handle's too small. All of these things. Those are the things to pay attention to help you when you tune into what's important to you, what your body is telling you, what your mind is telling you. Your body will tell you sometimes before your mind. Your face will. When I'm coaching, I watch people's faces. And they'll be like, oh, I don't want it. Or, like, I know before they can even get it out of their mouth if what's going on. So notice that about yourself. And if you have too many, here's a mantra. I deserve only the best. You deserve only the best, but say to yourself, I deserve only the best. I only want the best mugs. That may help you reduce the quantity you have, because you probably use the same ones over and over again. Same thing with cookbooks. Notice I just gave you a way of thinking about your stuff that you can then copy and repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. You can copy and paste that onto your cookbooks. What are the cookbooks I use all the time? Which are the ones I don't use anymore? Could I pass along the ones I don't use anymore? Could I see what my few favorite recipes are, take a picture of them, save them on my phone, and then get rid of the whole book? There we go. Which do you do first? Okay, so I hope that helps. Anastasia, for real, nice to see you. Which do you do first? When you overthink too long, nothing gets accomplished. Here's the thing, to get some insight, to get a hit, what is that? I can't remember. Jen Sincero called it something. But just to not overwhelm yourself. Don't spend too much time in here. The goal with figuring out what's going on in here is not to hang out here forever. No, because the only time figuring out stuff here helps your life is when you put it into action. So hang out here long enough to say you find 3 things you can do or whatever, go do them. Then after you do them and you take action, go back to your brain and say, okay, what next? Okay, what next? I did some things. I went out into the world. I moved some things with my hands. This is why I talk about this. You've got a thought in your head that makes you feel a certain way in your heart, and then you go do something with your hands. Head, heart, hands. I feel like I'm in church. But notice the alliteration. Notice the top down. The overwhelm starts here, and then you write it down, and then you're able to take action when you write it down. Cece Fitzhenry says, I took pictures of my parents' stuff that I got rid of. I still get feelings when I look at the pics. I think that's good. That's awesome. Lori says, both my parents are gone. I have all my sister's things. She passed at 6. I don't want it all. That's a really good thing to say and know. You don't have to have it all. You don't even have to have any of it. Pause for dramatic effect. Or a dramatic pause for effect. I'll work on that one. It's kind of cracking me up. Lori, I just say that to you, that it's like, this is your life. Don't you forget, as Talk would say. You deserve to live a life you love, surrounded by only things that light you up, and the quantity and the quality and all that. What is worth selling versus giving it away? Sunshine Girl 909090. The Google will tell you. I don't know. But you know who's going to tell you is the marketplace out there. And I say the marketplace, meaning who is out there? What do you have? Is it worth money to somebody else? And how much money is it worth to somebody else? Google your stuff. Google the name, the pattern, any of the descriptors, and see what comes up. You may have some inadvertent finds. I will say this, actually. Here's a fun thing to think about this. All sorts of things. Funny. Okay, so many things. What am I going to say? Okay, what is worth selling versus giving away? Here's one thing that's going to be really fun that you may not know about. So this coming Saturday, I will actually be at a place where people are selling stuff that people are excited to spend a lot of money on. And this is Pyrex and Corelle and Corningware, all of these like vintage kitchen ththings. I used to be a vintage seller. I used to write books about vintage road trips and stuff. And I am helping my sister at this thing. It's called a Pyrex Fest. It's in Havre de Grace, Maryland. And I was surprised to learn how much money people will spend on Pyrex. So you don't know what you have. You don't know what anything's worth to somebody else until you go do the action and find it out. So go Google that stuff and see what happens. Okay. What else? Sue, yeah, the tons of Tervis tumblers I don't use anymore. Notice that if you don't use them, donate them to somebody who will. I have Tervis tumblers. It's kind of one of the things about the fact that they last forever, right? And that's okay. Maybe just pick your favorites. We've picked our favorites, and I have donated a few. Okay. Notice the habit you're in, Anastasia. We keep saving all the cups for McDonald's or 7-Eleven. Notice that is a habit. We keep doing it, but then you say, ugh. That's when you're like, wait a minute. This This is not what I want to do. I need to pay attention and stop the next time I do that, break the habit of keeping them, and then decrease the amount that you have in your home. Okay, Bernadette Oliver is saying, this is my whole life. Clutter has taken over my house. I just want to clear my whole house out. Awesome. Let's do it. You know how you do that. You don't do the whole house at a time. You start with a room at a time. You start with a spot in your time, and you just show up and do it. Now, I know that is way oversimplistic, but at the core of it, you can do it. It's just a bunch of, here's how I look at it, is our homes are filled with stuff that we have accumulated through living. So you may have what I call, when I'm coaching, a backlog. You have way too much stuff in your home. And that's not me saying that. That's you saying it. You do you. Whatever quantity of items you have in your home has to feel right to you. But when it does not feel right to you, that's when you are getting an indication that it doesn't feel right. You want to feel better. So that's an indication to do something about it. And you can do something. If you get yourself into overwhelm, if the unhelpful thoughts, what I like to call your backseat driver thoughts that don't want you to start, offer up this gem of there's too much, it's overwhelming, I'll never get it done, and you believe that, you're right, you'll never get started, so you will never get it done. Self-fulfilling prophecy. However, this is where the cool stuff comes in, is you can choose to think a different thought. You can choose to say, I know there's a lot here, but I'm going to get started. It's like a road trip. Again, I always go back to the road trip because I'm going to look this up one day. I should do it right now. Is the distance between where I live and Palm Springs, California in miles. I know it takes about 40 hours to drive there, road trip driving. Notice, oh my God, 40 hours. It's going to take 40 hours to get there. All right, that's a lot of hours. Overwhelming, not helpful. I'm not even starting. But if I really want to get to where I want to go, I'll be like, okay, how can I make that happen? Shifting even just that little bit of thought to be like, I can't do it, to how can I make this happen? How can I make this happen? I can do something today. I can make it better. It's going to be better today than yesterday, then better the next day. I love you more today than yesterday, but it's not as much as tomorrow. I just crack myself up. This is how I coach. And yeah, just notice. And again, it's going to be probably easier for the people who tune in when this is downloaded and then uploaded to YouTube. To see it if you're watching it all the way through. But notice the overwhelm and the stuck, and then you get started. Y'all, we do this every day in our lives. We get out of bed. We get up. We do the things. We recommit. We get up and do the things. Making space in your life for what's important to you is part of what decluttering is. It actually is what decluttering is saying, I want more physical space in my home that's currently being taken over by things, but I also want like peace of mind. I want a nice, calm home and head so that when I have free time, I can flop on the couch and read a book. So notice, Bernadette, just notice, and this could be a revelation to everybody, that to realize how much the thoughts in our head, just the words and the sentences in our heads that often pop up unbidden or choose certain words, makes us do stuff that we don't realize we're doing. Notice that. There we go, Bonnie Esther. Nice to see you. I always think of the money I spent as well. Okay, y'all, everybody, you have in the past spent money on things that have not worked out. You might today spend money on something that doesn't work out like you hoped it would. And in the future, you will spend money on things that don't work out like you hoped they would. It is part of the human experience in a capitalist society. I say that to encourage you to realize that hanging on to something just because you spent money on it doesn't get your money back and is making you feel crappy because you're hanging on to it. You can change your thoughts about these things. They say it, businesses do this all the time. They say ignore the sunk costs. And I say release yourself from the sunk cost. The money you sunk into it, don't go throwing good money after bad. Do not go throwing good feelings after bad. Don't keep making yourself feel lousy because you're hanging on and beating yourself up about a purchase that didn't work out. There we go. Here's one I struggle with, says Jessica Riley. Craft supplies. Craft supplies. Same thing as we were talking about in coffee mugs. What are your favorites? What are the things, what are the crafts that right now, regardless of what crafts you used to do back in the past, back then, you used to do some crafts. Cool. But today, where you are in this pin on the map, what are the crafts that you currently enjoy doing? And what are the ones that you are eagerly looking forward to spending your time on? Your favorites. Notice that, and notice what doesn't fit under that favorite umbrella. Notice the stuff that maybe you used to use and you're tired of it. You don't want to do that craft anymore. Or notice the stuff that maybe you never even did it, but even the thought of it is like, I don't even know if I want to do it. Copy and pasteable. Let's keep it simple. Don't. Here's the funny thing. It's like your backseat driver thoughts that don't want you to change are going to try to make this seem more difficult than it is. And I love being the co-pilot to I'm the sidekick on your road trip going, it's not that difficult. But I mean this in a loving way, not in a mean way, but a loving way. It's really not that difficult. All it is practicing the habit of asking yourself and trusting your judgment, do I want this in my life or not? And then acting accordingly. And it's copy and pasteable to every single item in your home and all sorts of things in your life. Notice that. Bernadette Oliver is saying, my clutter is home decor. I decorate for each season. Now I'm overwhelmed with how much I have. I was in that boat at one point too. I thought it was great. I see these people with the maximalist kitchens and Christmases, and I started doing that myself and thrifting, and it was fun for a while. Notice, it was fun for a while until it wasn't. Until instead of saying, yay, I get to decorate, I'm so excited, it was like, oh shit, I got all that Christmas stuff. Yeesh. Notice how it's making you feel and act accordingly. Notice that it's making you feel overwhelmed, too much. Notice the overwhelm, the too much is not where just right is. You have a just right feeling, a better feeling. You will feel better with less. And I say just right because I always think back to Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This is too cold. This is too warm. This is just right. Everybody has their own just right set point. You are obviously not you've already said, I'm overwhelmed. I have too much, above my happy place. Decreasing the stuff that is just in that category will help you get to a place where you feel better about the stuff. And you're going to start with, like what I said about craft supplies and coffee mugs. What are my favorites? What are the ones that I still want to hang on to? What are the ones that just don't do it for me anymore? Give yourself the time and the opportunity to think of these things. And the funny thing is these decisions may not take that much at all. You may know in a hot minute where you're like, oh God, yeah, I don't want those anymore. I'm done. Or it may take a little bit of while. But you deserve to spend some time figuring this stuff out. There we go. All right. Woo! Yeah, somebody just said I need to use my stash of stuff. Yes. The wonderful thing about decluttering is that you give yourself the opportunity to say, what is this? Oh, I want to do that. That's right. I'm going to put it on my map. I want to put it on my plate or my calendar to say, oh, you know what? I do want to have people over for fondue. Let's make that happen. Okay. Okay. Merry Christmas. All of my Christmas stuff makes me happy. That's great. And see, T-Site is like, want mine? I'm getting rid of it. Yeah, I have decreased a lot of my stuff. Oh, coffee talk. Nice to see you, Rita. Nice to see you. I'll be here for another about 11 minutes or so. Everybody, nice to see everybody. And I realized I've been coaching and inspiring and doing all the things for so long. Forgot to introduce myself to the new people. So if we've never met before, hey, my name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. That is what I would much rather have you remember. I am a decluttering life coach. I have this TikTok page. If you haven't followed me, please follow me. Notice I had the habit of calling it liking. Please follow my page if you want to know when I'm showing up live again. If you want to get all sorts of free good stuff from me and the first dibs on my one-on-one coaching, I have an email mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. You can join that. Just wanted to do that little shout out because I'm here for about another 10 minutes. Okay. See, notice this, Jessica Riley. So good. Notice what you did. She's saying, for those of you who can't read these things, I've been stopping myself from buying new yarn to use up mine first, and it has helped. Notice that habit, that pattern disrupt, that habit disrupt. I was in the habit of buying new yarn, and then I had too much. Now I've stopped that habit. I've stopped the amount of stuff coming in, and I'm using what I have. Can you imagine and again, copy and paste, cut and paste, copy and paste that onto everywhere in your home. Where do you have too much coming in that you could stop and you could just use what you have until you get down to a more reasonable level? I'm thinking pantries maybe. I bet all of us, many of us have a lot of food that's in storage because of post-COVID and lack and all the things. Could you get creative? And I do this, everybody's so creative, and that's probably where it comes from. My husband laughs about that when I'm like, no, let's see what we can eat that we have right now before we go buy more stuff. Okay, Jen, I just tried scheduling a consult, but it glitched at the end and I don't know if it went through. I will follow back on you. The only thing I can think that might have happened, which is true, and I will share this with everybody, Mama Anna, nice to see you from New York, is scheduling the consults. I will literally say that prior to this call, I had 2 consultation slots available for the rest of September. The reason that is because I have a lot of clients right now, and also I do take time off. I go what I call off the digital grid. So just to know that my consultations for September are limited. However, October, I will open that up again. The people that are going to know when it's open first are the people that are on my email mailing list. So if you happened to have gotten a glitch response, I'll take a look. I'm thinking it might have been that somebody might have during this call taken the 2 slots that were there. Don't worry about that. Do not worry. What I would say then is just go to my destinationdecluttered.com, get on my mailing list, and that's where I let everybody there know that the calendar's open before I let anybody in the general public. Okay? There we go. Anna Little, same thing. I have too much, just right. I have too much cleaning products, hair care, and beauty products. Use them. Use them. Or if you don't use them because you don't like them, share them with somebody else. Put a thing out to your friends. Hey, I got the shampoo, it doesn't work. Anybody want it? Hey, I got too many things that, Clorox wipes. You want them? Hanging on to it, use it or move it aside, and then note this before you buy anything else. Okay, another Jen here. I also tried to book a session. I had the glitch. All right, here are scheduled already. So here's the thing I want to offer to you and everybody. Just hop on my mailing list. It is so low key. You get a free habit tracker when you sign up. You get notified of all the cool stuff, and I don't salesy and I don't spam you a lot. I hate that stuff, okay? But thank you for letting me know that happened. T-Site just said, let me get a bag done today. Out of here. Do it. You got it. I'm only here for 7 more minutes, but you can do this. Notice, yes, Mama Anna, September is always decluttering month for me. Yes, it is. I will say myself too. Notice the humanity. Notice that the season change. Like, it may not even be the weather where you are, but that back to school, end of summer, getting into the fall, all of those things make you feel like that type of thing. So honor that and act upon that. And the neat thing is that if you notice that, you can also notice the habits that got you cluttered, declutter, and then change your habits so you don't reclutter. There we go. This weekend, I'm going to work on some stuff you've talked about today, says Jessica. Rock on. Rock on. I love that you're going to do it this weekend. I do not want to discourage you from that at all. I want to encourage you to do that. However, I also want to encourage everybody. This is a thing I see a lot with my coaching, is thinking that you need a big amount of time to get the decluttering done. Now, I will say, if you have a lot of backlog, you probably would benefit from spending some time, a lot of time, working on that so you get closer to your destination. But please do not do the unhelpful, overwhelm, black and white, all or nothing thinking of decluttering always means I need to spend a real lot of time on it. I was coaching a client through this morning, and what I want to offer to you to just roll around in your brain is to say you can get amazing, you can have your home looking and feeling and functioning better, even if you just show up 10 minutes a day. So don't do the all or nothing. Do all and. Like, do the stuff on the weekend and practice your better habits during the week. Stop your habits of cluttering. Get used to putting stuff away. Get used to throwing things away. Mix up the habits during the week, and that's going to help you too. There we go. Jen, do not worry. I will post this live for everybody. I always download these from TikTok when the TikTok makes them available, and I will upload them, to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. It's there, and it's there's a playlist just for TikTok lives, and we've talked about earlier that it. And what else? Sorry, I just got a phone call. I usually put my like do not disturb on, and I forgot that. Yeah, so notice the all or nothing. Catch yourself with the all or nothing. Be like, ooh, that's so unhelpful. That is so unhelpful, because usually it means I'm doing nothing. What can I do in a little bit? Set a timer. Set the timer on your phone. Get curious. Play. Say, what could I do in 5 minutes? 20 minutes seems like too much, too overwhelming. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and my house is going to look better in 5 minutes. It's not going to look done. It's going to look better. That's all we're going for, babe. So, that's all we want is better. Okay? Do you share tips of how to sell the things you don't want? I do not. There are so many people out there that can guide you on that. There's going to be different ways. Do it the easiest way for you. I do have some things that I'm going to be researching selling myself, but I'm going to weigh to see if it's worth it, what it takes to worth it. Okay. What else do we have? There we go. What else can we do? I just want to make sure I got all this done. I am making blankets over my leftover yarn. Grandkids love them. I love, Mary Lou, that you're using the stuff you have. That's so great. Very nice to meet you, Jilliandra. I'm glad to help you. Alrighty. It's totally positive. Everybody's so creative. Here's the funny thing. Positive thoughts, happy thoughts, cheery thoughts, negative thoughts, all the thoughts. I never want you to think you need to be wicked, psyched, Pollyanna. Look at me. I'm doing the dishes. I love doing the dishes. What I want you to do is be excited about the destination. I want you to be all hot and heavy about how your home's going to look and feel and function. And then what I want you to do is I would love for you to just take the emotion out of a lot of the boring stuff you have to do to get there temporarily. And then the way you do that, then when you're there, you have the habits that are better. And then you just live in a home that looks and feels better. And then you're like, okay, I have all this free time because I'm not dealing with my stuff. What do I want to do with my free time? And you can do whatever you want with your free time. And it's so much nicer when the clutter's out of your home and the voices are quieter in your head because you're not seeing things going, I got to do that, I got to do that, got to do that. Your mental clutter is just as bad, if not more so, than your physical clutter. But the reason I start with physical clutter with folks is because when you know how to handle your physical clutter, you're also working on your mental clutter because you're taking those thoughts and you're writing them down of all the things you have to do. Just notice that. All right? All right? Listen to me, all right? I'm like, there we go. I'm going to put empty boxes out today and start to declutter. Bernadette, you rock. Bernadette, remember Bernadette from Zoom? She did that thing with her hands. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to knock over my teacup. Ass over teacup. All right, what else can I help you with? I've got 2 minutes. It is going to feel great to have the counter cleared off. Jen, notice that. Everybody say it's going to feel great when. And it's going to feel great when I get to Palm Springs, but what's it going to feel like? You get to have a taste of that feel great when you even just start. When you know you're on your way to someplace good, you can drive for an hour and be like, oh my God, I'm on my way. This is so cool. I may not even be out of Pennsylvania yet, but boy, I'm heading west and tomorrow I'm going to show up and then I'll be in Ohio and then I'll be in Indiana and then my map kind of falls out over that. But you get the idea, right? Every little time you show up, you are getting further away from what you used to do that didn't help you and you're getting closer to the destination you want. And this is a combination of knocking down, of reducing the sheer volume of items that have accumulated over your decades, and also noticing your habits that got you there and changing them every day, just practicing changing them to stop the unhelpful habits and to start some new ones so that you just stay decluttered. Like I look around and there's some things, I have a few things to file here. I don't know, there's a few, but there's barely anything to do in that like housewife mode or whatever, homekeeping mode, so that I have all sorts of time to do the things I want to do. And what I want to do is different from what you want to do, but I just want us all to have more time to live a life we love before we leave this mortal coil. Okay? There we go. Okay, notice this. Bernadette is saying, I can never resell because the time it takes. Notice it's not worth your time. Time is something we never get back, people. There we go. All right, Anna Little says, I would love to get my home as nice as yours. You can do it. That's part of your destination. There we go. All right, mother of mini dinos. My clutter is learned from my parents. It's a learned behavior. You can unlearn that. And if you are a mother of mini dinos, if they're real kiddos, you can also break that cycle so you don't give those unhelpful thoughts and feelings to your kids. All right? It's noontime where I am. Ding dong. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. If you haven't had a chance because I've been talking too much, I will sign off in a moment. Please go to my TikTok page, Destination Decluttered, and follow it. If you know somebody who is struggling with clutter and stuff, share it with them. I also show up for the people that are not on TikTok. I share my recorded videos on Destination Decluttered on Instagram and Facebook. I also upload these TikToks when they're downloaded, and I upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Lastly and bestly, however, is the Destination Decluttered website and mailing list. That's where you can sign up for my free mailing list, get a habit tracker, and be the first people that get dibs on stuff. There's a monthly, actually, I think is it next week already? Wow, this month is flying. Next week, we have a group Zoom call just for the people on the email mailing list. You also get first dibs on my consultation calendar and when I do like free workshops, things like that. So there's all sorts of stuff, okay? I do this because I want you to live a life you love, all right? And on that awesome note, I will see you the next time I do a TikTok live. There's actually a schedule posted on the top of my TikTok page. I probably need to check it myself, all right? I'll see you.